Get ready.
Woo! Get ready for Jeff Ross. Do you have thick skin? Come together. Very rare people coming together. It's usually one or the other.
Yep. This is Thick Skin with Jeff Ross, where people come together. I'm smoking a joint. How do we not have a weed sponsor? It doesn't even make sense. Like, some of these podcasts have weed sponsors. Hey, welcome to the show. This is Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. I'm Jeff. This is Ed.
How you doing? What's going on?
Not that much. I'm fucking quarantine. So, I always say life is hard. Let's get through it together. But this is all we have together.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's a different time. Everything's virtual. I just last night I did a read, the Purim story, the Jewish story of Purim.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And like a charity thing for the Met Council. And I played King Ashkafacha's right-hand man. And Jeff Garland played the king, and Bob Saget and Howie Mandel and Susie Essman and Judy Gold.
Wow.
And Barry Weiss. They were all part of the show. So that's on February 22nd at 8 o'clock Eastern. You can watch that at PurimFunnyStory.com. And, a virtual comedy show around a Jewish holiday. My favorite Jewish holiday is not Purim. It's not Hanukkah. It's Tupac Shakur.
Every year.
I can't get enough Tupac Shakur. I think that's the holiday where Jews try not to get murdered in Vegas. Tupac Shakur. That's one fun thing that I'm doing. So check that out. Purim Funny Story.
So
Elon Gold was the narrator who produced the whole thing.
I love Elon.
Elon's a great guy. Shout out to Elon, who did a great job putting that whole thing together. Shout out to the Stereo app. I've been doing a lot of chats on there, too. That's a good way for people to come together. Go to your app store, download Stereo, follow me on there. And I go on there, and I roast people. They roast me back. I have conversations with friends. It's a blast. It's free, and it's something to do, especially if you're still in lockdown.
Yeah, it gives you friends.
Gives you friends. Yeah, like, friends that, you don't even have to look at them. You make an avatar and you talk to people on Stereo app. It's like Clubhouse for people that couldn't get an invite to Clubhouse. It's fun.
I like it because it's like every other social media app, you're typing at each other. This one, you're actually talking to each other.
Yeah,
and I think
really
that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, it is really nice. We have a lot of prepared material today. We're going to do some roast and peace tributes to a friend of mine, to Larry Flynt, who passed away. We'll do that at the end of the podcast today. And we'll do a roast and peace to a couple other people, Hank Aaron and
Siegfried.
And Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy. Because there's just so many deaths.
It's been crazy.
In the first month and a half of this year, every day is another death. And on this show, we usually pay tribute to the people we really care about, and then we can't even keep up with them, so we're doing 3 or 4 per episode. And then just when we're about to start the show, fucking Rush Limbaugh dies.
Ugh.
I
don't even know what to do with this.
Rush will be remembered by gross, brainwashed men in the middle of this country. How come brainwashed people rarely wash the rest of themselves? He was a pioneer. I mean, for Whale to have so many inland fans was incredible. Rush Limbaugh. The ones I feel bad for in this situation is the good people at Morton's Steakhouse. I imagine he was a big customer. He was a big guy. Rush was something he was incapable of doing. He walked slow. It's a great day for the band Rush. After Rush Limbaugh died, Alex Jones and Satan were trending on Twitter. What kind of poker game did those guys have? Anyway, Rush Limbaugh once wrote a book called The Way Things Ought to Be. It was a 300-page book about him yelling at a production assistant who got his lunch order wrong. And then, a lot of people, other people who were even more beloved. Tommy Lasorda, the Dodgers manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, this news, Lasorda, made me sad. When St. Peter said Tommy Lasorda couldn't get into heaven, he just kicked some dirt on him until he let him in. Mary Wilson, Chick Corea, Leon Spinks, all of them roast in peace. It's tough to decide who we pay tribute to. Sometimes they're very personal. But I did want to make special note of a real friend of mine, and not just of mine, a friend of the comedians. And a lot of people might not know this about him, but Larry Flynt. A lot of people know him as the guy who owns Hustler.
Yeah.
The magazine, the publisher of all this smut, porn on the internet. He was a porn mogul.
Yeah.
And if you saw the movie The People versus Larry Flynt, then he was portrayed by Woody Harrelson. Edward Norton played his lawyer, and Courtney Love played Larry Flynt's wife. Got an Oscar nomination. Phenomenal movie, but it's basically about Larry Flynt's fight to protect free speech, the First Amendment in this country. And Larry befriended me at one point, started inviting me to his, not porn parties, his family parties in Beverly Hills. I'd go see his family and his coworkers. And
so interesting.
It would usually be me and Bill Maher and like a bunch of Larry's friends. Mm-hmm. And his wife, Liz, would very gracious hosts, always had delicious shrimp cocktail at their house. And Larry, I also visited with him in Hawaii, where he lived. Bill Maher took me to Larry's house. We got to hang out with Woody Harrelson there. And how about the fact that Woody Harrelson played Larry Flynt in the movie and then became friends with him in real life? That's
amazing. I mean, if you're going to get anyone to play you in a movie, Woody Harrelson's the best one.
And Larry Flynt was shot in the 70s by a white supremacist who didn't like what he was doing.
Yeah, he shot his lawyer as well.
Whew. And Larry was in a wheelchair, and a gold wheelchair. He would ride around Beverly Hills. You'd see him at the Four Seasons having dinner or lunch, holding court. He had trouble speaking, so you'd sit real close to him. Mm-hmm. And I imagine COVID and quarantine, he got lonely.
Yeah,
he couldn't get too close, and I think it's a lot of people aren't making it through this time. But Larry's one of those guys. He'll kind of live forever because of what he stood for, what he represented. He played a great prank on me once. I used to bust his balls all the time. I roasted him at the Friars Club, and I used to say, Woody Harrelson, it's fitting that you played Larry Flynt in the movie because Woody, you're dead from the neck up. And Larry eventually co-opted that joke when he ran for governor against Gray Davis. He said, I'm the opposite of, Gray Davis is the opposite of me. He's dead from the neck up. Great political joke, actually. And Larry did give me credit.
I think it's great that a man named Woody played him.
Yeah. Since he got so many erections going for guys all over the world. And Larry Flynt was interesting in that he took a joke really well. Yes, I roasted him. And I also roasted him once when he wasn't even there. After 9/11, there was that famous Hugh Hefner roast.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, porn publishers. I said, we were going to roast Larry Flynt, but nobody wanted to build a ramp. And Hef did tell me that was his favorite joke of the night. Probably because it wasn't at his expense. I did have some great jokes about Hugh Hefner, don't worry. You know why Hugh Hefner has 7 girlfriends?
Why?
1 to put it in, and the other 6 to move him around. Yeah, so Larry Flynt was a great guy with a great sense of humor. I used to go to this Valentine's Day party every year that Sherry Hackett would throw, Buddy's widow. She remarried, and her and her husband would have these Valentine's parties. And inevitably, the mic would get passed to me at a certain point, and I'd have to make some speech about Valentine's Day. I would work the room. And I'd be like, oh, Larry Flynt's here. Larry, congratulations. Came in last again on Dancing with the Stars or something like that. And the poor guy's in a wheelchair for life. Yeah. So, and it's not, and he can barely heckle back because he kind of had like a mumbly kind of speech problem from being shot. And, for a comedian who talks smack for a living, he is a hero.
Yeah.
And other really respected comedians love Larry. Bill Maher was very close with Larry Flynt. But I was pretty harsh. I'd always make these jokes on Larry Flynt. And then one year, I get a brown paper bag delivered to my door. And in it was some Hustler merchandise, like a hat, a shirt, a big black dildo, which we still have here in the podcast room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it over there on the lampstand.
Yeah, should we grab it? Let me grab it.
Yeah, grab it in honor of Larry.
And I'd be like, Larry Flynt sent it to me. And she's like, I don't believe you. But I had this big black dildo. I don't know if it's a flask or battery operated or what goes on with this thing. But thank you, Larry. And there was a copy somewhere, I have it, of Hustler, of that magazine from that month. And in it was a picture of me with a big black cock photoshopped into my mouth. And it said something like, there's one way to shut Jeff Ross up or something like that. So
that's amazing. I never knew that.
Yeah. So with no further ado, our first of a few roasts in peace today. Roast in peace, Larry Flynt. Hit it, Ed.
Larry Flynt, owner of strip clubs, Hustler magazine, and one-time bootlegger, passed away this past week. He was a champion for free speech and spent a lot of time in and out of the courts. One day after court, unfortunately, him and his lawyer were shot. They both lived through the incident, but left Larry in a wheelchair for the rest of his days. The film about his life, The People vs. Larry Flynt, directed by Milos Forman, was nominated for 2 Oscars and it is loved by movie buffs to this day. Larry Flynt, he was 78 years old.
And a big guy. He was like a Hugh Hefner. Larry believed in free speech, but the porn, well, that you had to pay for. Jimmy Carter's sister turned Larry into a born-again Christian for 1 year, but then he remembered he liked having fun. Larry Flynt famously had a gold-plated wheelchair. He won it in the Special Olympics for eating pussy. When Larry Flynt was young, he sold moonshine. He went from bootlegger to can't put boots on his leggers. Jeez. I used to have a subscription to Hustler magazine back when I used to pretend to read. Larry Flynt died on Hump Day. Well played, Larry. This is so sad to hear. I have mourning wood. Larry's funeral will be held behind a beaded curtain, and he'll be buried in a brown paper bag. That's how porn used to get delivered.
Yeah.
Larry Flynt, thank you for all the great memories, and for taking down Jerry Falwell, and for supporting the comedians, and for being my friend. Larry Flynt, rest in pussy. Thank you, Larry.
Here. That was my college roommate got Hustler magazine, and none of us were allowed to read it before him.
A friend of mine, very good friend of mine, wrote all the early Hustler comedy cartoons and articles. It was an editor, and now his wife won't let him talk about it because his kids are old enough to Google. So Larry Flynt's legacy sometimes is secret, but he was good to humor, good to comics. Yeah, I'm gonna miss that guy. All right, well, Ed, I know you prepared some touchy subjects, so let's hit it.
Touchy subjects.
Touchy subject. What's our first touchy subject?
Well, we got a bunch of them, so let's go through these kind of fast here. A 95-year-old woman who worked as a Nazi concentration camp secretary.
This is your first one?
Yeah, breaking it out. I mean, she's charged with 10,000 murders. She's 95 years old.
10,000 murders.
Yeah.
95 years old.
A 95-year-old woman identified as...
She's going to serve 15 minutes for every conviction.
If she's lucky.
Right.
If her name is Irmgard. Oh, she's got guard in her first name. Irmgard F. has been charged as an accessory to the murder of 10,000 people because she worked as a secretary at a Nazi concentration camp. German prosecutors announced on Friday from June 1943 to April 1945, she worked as a secretary and a typist for the command of the Stutthof concentration camp in present-day Poland. Man, I've kind of it's weird because she's just like some little old lady.
Well, she's 95, so for the last 50 years,
she had a good run.
60, 70 years, she was like, I know nothing. I saw nothing. And then one day they knock on her door, and suddenly she's exposed.
She claimed that she never entered the camp itself and that her office window faced away from the complex. That's her defense.
I did not look out the other window. I was very busy staring into my computer. I only killed 7,000 Jews. This is not fair.
For many years, German courts held that only the most senior Nazi leaders could be held responsible for the worst crimes of the Holocaust. That changed in 2011, and prosecutors have since been racing to bring surviving perpetrators to justice while there is still time.
Oof. Man, got her at 95.
Yeah, they got another one recently at 100, a guard. It's so bizarre. Every time they get one, I'm just like, good. Because at the same time, they had a good run. They had a lot of time away from it, you know.
Oh, fuck that. They lived in shame and.
You think so?
Well, it's only one way. I mean, they either relished and were proud of what they did, or they live with the guilt. Mm-hmm. Let's hope they live with the guilt, because that's a horrible way to go 95 years, your whole life.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Fuck her. I hope she gets the electric wheelchair. What's next?
All right. A vagina-scented face mask is being sold online. That's right.
What?
Coming off the scent of Gwyneth Paltrow's new vagina-scented candle, an online fetish retailer, Sniffer, has begun to sell vagina-scented face masks to fight the pandemic.
Jeez.
So you just can't leave the house without smelling it.
That is...
Take a break,
Well, I got to imagine... I mean... Whose are they using to get the scent? That's really what. If they said it smelled like Gwyneth Paltrow's vajayjay, people might buy it.
Well, Angela Anderson, a 55-year-old New Jersey woman, has begun to sell her own brand of mask online for $5 a pop.
Really?
That's kind of cheap.
So this woman, and here's the thing: is like comedians joke about this, and actors do this for extra money. Like I've heard about women selling.
Socks and stuff.
Socks, used tampons.
God.
Dirty panties.
Man. Poor postal workers.
That's a good point, Ed. I mean, really. Well, if you want a punani mask, how do you get it?
Well, Anderson claims that to make the mask smell like her vagina, she glues a piece of fine cloth to the mask, which has been worn between her legs for 24 hours. She sold 500 masks in the first day listing.
First of all, who wears anything for 24 hours? This bitch don't even bathe. Damn. All right, well, good old American ingenuity. I respect it. What's next?
She's an entrepreneur.
Entreprenanny.
All right, 6 people were arrested after altering the Hollywood sign to read Holly Boob.
The Hollywood sign right here?
Yeah, did you see this?
It said Holly Boob?
It said Holly Boob
I didn't see
a day. Yeah, 6 people, 5 males, 1 female, were taken into custody this week after changing the W and the D on the Hollywood sign to read Holly Boob. The group successfully put giant tarps over the sign to change the letters. According to the perpetrators, they did it to raise awareness for breast cancer. Isn't that nice?
Wow, that's what they told the cops when they showed up.
They should have done it in October if they were trying to raise awareness for breast cancer, when the NFL's wearing all the pink flags and stuff.
Yeah. Imagine the meeting, 5 guys, 1 chick. You know, we really got to do something for breast cancer. You know, I was thinking of starting a hashtag, or maybe we could do a fundraiser. We could do a Zoom show. I got an idea. Let's do the least clear message we can think of. Let's change the Holly. Let's go to the Holly. Let's go into the woods and risk our lives. We could get bitten by a rattlesnake. We could get lost. We could break our legs.
Coyotes and mountain lions up there. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Tough to endorse this.
Yeah. The other 11 months.
Breast cancer has enough problems without having to take responsibility for these Holly boobs.
Yeah, all the rest of the year it says Hollywood, which is an advertisement for prick cancer.
Hollywood is for, yeah.
Oh, man. All right, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Paleontologists have discovered the first dino butthole. The well-preserved butthole belongs to a dinosaur called the, I'm going to mess this up, the Pisticosaurus, a relative of the Triceratops. The anatomy is unique, researcher Jason Vinther, a paleontologist, said. It doesn't quite look like the opening on birds, which are the closest living relatives of dinosaurs. It does look a bit like the back opening of a crocodile.
Imagine you're part of this archaeologist team. What do they call
Paleontologists.
Paleontologists, and it's like you know, what's the boss's name? Like captain, or like, team leader. I think I found something. Oh, all right. Well, let's call everybody in. They all gather. It's at 1,200 feet to the left, up that mountain, up there. Just stick your head right in.
Well, this is interesting. The discovery.
Is it a foot? Is it a nose? Is it a fin? Like, I think it's an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Hey, no, it's doing my job.
But it says dinosaurs use this multi-purpose opening for both pooping, peeing, breeding, and egg laying. So it all went through the same hole.
So they were more evolutionized than we are.
I guess so.
Imagine if we had one hole for all that.
I mean, it'd be easier. At least you still have another one for eating.
I guess so. But that is pretty amazing that they had an all-purpose hole and we have to mix them up. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's your favorite dinosaur? I always feel like this shows a lot about people.
What's yours?
I like the Brachiosaurus, the Brontosaurus, the big cow-looking ones.
Why?
They just seem friendly. And they also seem like they can kick all the other dinosaurs' ass, even though they're nice and friendly.
I got to go with Betty White.
Oh, stick around, Betty. One more year and you're 100.
Wow.
Man. You ready for your next story?
All right, next touchy subject.
All right.
By the way, when Betty White makes it to 100, what is that day like in America? That might just be the first truly happy day. Bob Hope made it to 100, and that was pretty cool.
George Burns, too.
George Burns was beloved, just like Bob Hope.
Yeah.
But Betty White is another thing. Her making it to 100, that's up there with one of the greatest days in American history. People are going to be so happy. When is that?
That's let's look when her birthday is.
We should start planning something now. Please, whoever knows Betty White, do not throw her a surprise party. We don't want her having a heart attack on her 100th birthday.
Oh my gosh, we got a long way to go. She just turned 99 on January 17th.
Oh, okay.
So we got 11 months.
11 months to plan something.
Yeah, and a good party for Betty White's 100.
Maybe we should get her a big, I don't know how you'd even present it to her, but a dinosaur's asshole.
Yeah.
You go, the only thing on earth older than you, Betty. What's next?
Chattanooga man charged with impersonating President Obama on a gun permit application. Police have charged Robert Joseph Halleck, a man in Tennessee, after he impersonated former President Obama's on a handgun permit.
What a weirdo.
It is a weird thing to do, like thinking you would actually get away with it. I wonder if he looks like him.
I'm guessing he looks like a guy who would hate Obama. This doesn't sound like a tribute, does it?
No, it's certainly not a tribute. You probably wanted to use it against him somehow. But the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services website says that individuals going to court with a mental health issue can receive the support of the Criminal Justice Behavioral Health Liaison, who assists with the elements. So he's pleading insanity.
Hey, I didn't get a gun permit, so I thought if I throw a $50 tip in there and call myself Barack Obama, some kid with a sense of humor would press the stamp,
Not everyone needs a gun. Also, what is?
Well, give it time. Give it time. What's next?
Trump Taj Mahal was leveled today in Atlantic City.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. Onlookers were charged $10 apiece to view the spectacle from a nearby parking lot.
Is that closure for some gamblers?
Oh, absolutely. For some people, but it doesn't matter. They're just going to end up putting into another bigger, nicer casino up. So,
right.
How
many people have stole my joke about Trump? I read your book, The Art of the Deal. How come it had 3 Chapter 11s?
It's a great joke. And he needs to hear it over and over again in their defense.
Is this the casino that your mom gambled at?
Yeah, this is it. This is the one that's in the movie, actually. I got the last footage, to my knowledge, inside here, inside Taj Mahal. And right. I used it in the movie.
In the movie, How America Killed My Mother.
Yeah. And you check that if you want to check that out, howamericakilledmymother.com. But yeah, no, I remember because they were auctioning off for this to press the button. The mayor of Atlantic City was auctioning off the right to press the button, and the auction got to as high as $175,000. So at first I was like, maybe I should just use this as a promo device for the movie, so I could try and raise money to be the guy who presses the button. But then I realized it's just putting up another casino, right. So it doesn't even, there's no real victory here as far as fighting gambling.
It's got to give gamblers and maybe even you some sense of finality, closure to Trump's ubiquitousness in Atlantic City. He was everywhere.
It was emotional.
He would promote
watching
fights and sporting events and comedy shows and music shows and pageants, and there was always something going on at one of the Trump casinos.
Yeah, especially Taj Mahal. Right. That was the big one.
Huh.
It was if you wanted to watch it, they were also auctioning off front row seats that people bought for $575 a piece
to watch the building go down.
Yeah, to be the front.
I watched
row.
it today a few times.
I did. I watched it 5 times today. I'd say at least. I woke up to it. Everyone sent it to me.
I'm always nervous thinking about the buildings across the street, down the block, and just all that smoke and rubble. What it takes to knock a building down. They got to clear out the whole neighborhood.
Well, the company that did it, they're really good at it. This is what they do. They blow up casinos. They're based out of Maryland, and they go to Vegas and blow up casinos, and they've blown up a couple casinos in Atlantic City. And this is what this company does.
How is this not the next Ocean's movie? This crew.
Oh my God, that's amazing. I love it.
The casino blower-uppers.
Caesar's Palace next door were selling rooms with a view at a high rate to watch the explosion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the thing is with that auction that got up to $175,000 to press the button, Carl Icahn, who now owns the property and all
right.
that, he was Trump's economic advisor for a couple years, and he nixed it, saying it was basically. It wasn't safe to have someone in there who wasn't a demolition expert.
I see.
But I think he really just didn't want the weird publicity. But the thing is, the money that was being raised was supposed to go straight to the Boys and Girls Club of Atlantic City. So Carl Icahn wrote a check, and everything was fine.
Okay, good. Well, sayonara, adios. Atlantic City, rid of the present Trump. But the past was way heavy there.
Oh, yeah.
He had 3 casinos there.
He had 3. They're all like 2 of them, I think, are now leveled, and 1 has been renamed.
Right.
Yeah, and they're going. The good news is here they're actually going to take part of it and try to make a fishing reef off of the coast there of the boardwalk with this.
That's nice.
So that is nice. There is something nice happening with it. And we got one more touchy subject about your buddy Mike Ward.
Comedian from Canada.
Yeah, because he got in all that hot water about the insulting a disabled child. And
there's laws against certain types of humor, or what was it?
Yeah,
Now.
French-Canadian comic Mike Ward is appealing the 2016 order from the Quebec Human Rights Tribunal, which is demanding Ward pay $28,000 to Jeremy Gabriel, who has a rare condition called Treacher-Collins syndrome, which causes facial deformity. Yeah, Ward joked that after hearing Gabriel sing the song for the Pope, he thought he was fatally ill and disappointed to find out that he was only ugly. Ward joked that he tried to drown Gabriel after finding out he wasn't going to die. He went for it. Yeah, it was like he went hard on him. But the thing is, he's just talking. Right. It's
stand-up comedy.
It's stand-up comedy. Even if you don't like the joke, you can't fine him for the joke.
Like, they have weird rules in some America's. This brings us full circle back to Larry Flynt. Like, we really can basically, if it doesn't threaten and it isn't defamatory in a certain context, you could basically say anything.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I drew swastikas on my book covers. Because it was fun, and then I'd cross them out real quick because I knew it was taboo.
Yeah.
You'd write dirty words. And then, we get older, and we're on Twitter, and you can say basically anything.
Yeah.
People are applauding a man's death today. It's like, no problem.
It was pretty crazy.
And so, shout out to the comedians wherever you are working under the watchful eye of the governments, all your governments. Be careful out there. I can't always say it's worth it.
Yeah.
But comedy really is powerful. If it's a good joke, if you're just up there doing some bullshit, think it through. You might not want to get in trouble. Don't threaten anybody. And there's other things that are taboo. You don't want to out people who don't want to be outed or who aren't outed. You don't want to, incite any violence.
Well, it's like how you always say with the roast, like you want everyone leaving there saying that was an amazing time. Yeah. You want everyone to go home and get laid.
Yeah.
And that's the point of being a comedian.
Yeah.
Is it's to have fun and joke around. It's not to make people sad.
Right. Every roast, I always think I want people to go, that was fun. Let's do that again sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
So that I keep working.
It's good business.
Mike Ward, good luck with your appeal. We're rooting for you. Did you ever see Siegfried and Roy perform?
I did. I saw Siegfried and Roy at the Mirage. My dad took me.
They were amazing.
It was unbelievable. It was one of the only magic shows with tigers and crazy animals the whole time.
It was wild.
Yeah, it was just like on stage. Like you've seen like tigers, like zoos and animal shows and stuff like that. Yeah. But like to see them like in a theater,
that is strange.
It was wild, man. I thought they were great, and I'm not even a big magic guy.
Yeah, I mean we know more about animals now, and we're more compassionate, but it definitely added a mystique.
Mm-hmm.
It was good for the Tigers brand.
Yeah.
So I found them very entertaining, Siegfried and Roy. I did see them once, and I've probably told this story before, but I'll never forget. It was like $150 a ticket.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was a lot of money for me. And I'm sitting there with my friend, and we're in Vegas, and Siegfried and Roy show, and the lights go out, and they make this for tonight's performance. No flash photography. It could frighten the tigers. And I had my camera with me, so I'm thinking, for this kind of money, $150, I'm about to take the best picture of my vacation. So part of this is on me. I was there that night. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So Siegfried Fischbacher, roast in peace. Take it away, Ed.
Siegfried Fischbacher, half of the magic supergroup Siegfried and Roy, passed away recently. Siegfried started his career in Europe with Roy in the late 70s and eventually took their unique magic act to Las Vegas and became one of the most famous acts that town has ever seen.
Yep.
His partner Roy Horn passed away less than a year ago. He was 81.
This is so sad. It's Crocus Pocus 2 in Las Vegas this year. If Joe Exotic is the Tiger King, then Siegfried was the Tiger Queen.
Yeah, baby.
The only person excited for this death was Carol Baskin. That bitch. Last year, Siegfried's bibbity bobbity boo Roy Horn passed away. So this time when he yells, "Roy, I'm coming," he means heaven. Growing up in Germany, his first trick was when he helped to try and make the Jews disappear. Siegfried was a great dresser. You could say his clothes were fabricadabra. Siegfried never said the word alakazam because he was worried that Shaquille O'Neal would show up wearing a turban. Here's hoping the gates of heaven open sesame for Siegfried. Someone told me Siegfried died and I thought they were lying to me. It's crazy how famous Siegfried was because when you said Roy Horn dies at 75, no one knew what the fuck you were talking about. Roy Horn? Siegfried and Roy? Oh, okay. Siegfried died of I can't say this. Siegfried died of pancreatic cancer, which he caught too late. You would think he'd have gotten more CAT scans.
Ah, yes.
Siegfried Fischbacher, roast in pieces.
Oh, Siegfried.
Some of that was not good. Some of that I might pay for when I am at the gates of heaven.
I mean, they're definitely coming for you. Both of us. Come on. Ugh. I mean, we did my dad last week. You know, what do we...
That's true. That is true.
It's an honor.
When I was a kid, this was my hero. I love this guy. He was my generation's Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
All right. Hank Aaron, please roast in peace.
Hank Aaron, one of the greatest hitters in MLB history. He started off in the Negro Leagues with the Indianapolis Clowns and then moved on to the Boston Braves. Career stats, unbelievable. 305 batting average, 3,771 hits, 755 home runs, and 2,297 RBIs. Hammerin' Hank broke Babe Ruth's home run record and was tortured by racists during the entire run to beat him. He played it cool and never let the stress get to him. Barry Bonds ended up breaking his record, but Hank did it without the help of human growth hormones. He was 86 years old.
Oh, Hank Aaron. Home run king Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron, also known as Hammerin' Hank, had the most home runs ever until Barry Bonds decided to do steroids.
Oh.
Hank had 6 kids and was a great dad. Every day was a no-hitter for those kids. Hank Aaron started in the Negro Leagues playing for the Indianapolis Clowns. They were a good team, but the main problem is they had to fit all the players in one car on their way to road games. Hank Aaron beat Babe Ruth's record, and he did it without being drunk all the time. He may have been Hammerin' Hank, but the Babe was the one who was hammered all the time. Roastin' homers, Hammerin' Hank. Love you, buddy.
Ah, man.
He will not be crossing home plate ever again.
No.
He's sliding into heaven. He didn't slide.
Never had to.
Never had to.
Man, what a badass.
I hope when he gets to heaven, they make him sit in the bleachers. He can catch Babe's homers. He'll be a kid again. And I wonder if heaven starts where, like if you go to heaven, are we babies again? Or are we this age that you die?
Interesting.
Like, what if you're 95 and you die of a terrible disease? That's what you are in heaven? Like, how far back does it go?
I feel like it goes to your, like, whenever you want was the best part of your life mentally.
Oh, wow. Shit. The Flavor Flav roast? All right. I'll make that deal.
Mine was when I was selling weed and working at Hooters.
Can we trade? Yeah, boy. That's a good stereo chat idea. Your version of heaven.
Oh, wow. That is a good idea.
Yeah.
We should do that this week.
I'm going to go on stereo this week and do that. Download stereo app. It's so much fun. Follow me on there. It's free. It's easy. And we can talk on there. It's kind of cool. All right. Thanks, Ed.
No problem. And just so you people know, you go to roastmastergeneral.com for all things Jeff Ross. You pick up your emotional support human shirt there. We're also selling the old baseball tees in honor of Hank Aaron. You pick those up. It's a Jeff Ross quote. I'm offended by people who are always offended. The Purim Show. Purim Funny Story, February 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can get your tickets at purimfunnystory.com. Also cameos. Jeff is always making these cameos and they're great for any occasion. You got a birthday. We wrote some for some people who got COVID. Like some guy lost his bar and his friends wanted him to get roasted to cheer him up.
One guy lost his foot.
Yeah, one guy lost his foot. It's great. So go get that. It's the best gift you can get for your friends.
I love making people happy.
Instagram, The Real Jeffrey Ross, Eddie Tunes, Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. Check those out. How America Killed My Mother is available on howamericakilledmymother.com. And my other podcast I do is The Brighter Side with Amber Nelson on the Last Podcast Network.
All right, folks. Thank you to all my emotional support humans, wherever you are. Don't forget to like this podcast, comment on it on the Apple iTunes, whatchamacallit, and then flip it over to YouTube and massage that and lick it up and tell your friends about it by retweeting I don't know a lot about what you're supposed to do with podcasts. Tell a friend because I would do it for you, quite frankly. In the meantime, what did my friend Yale used to say? The chef at the old Clinton Manor used to say,
keep your balls clean.
It was something like that. Anyway, fuck it. Good night, everybody. See ya. Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, Gary Clark Jr., taking us out. Bye. Damn. I'm in New York, talking the talk.
It's great.
I'm doing the podcast.
That was fun, man.
Full tank of gas.
Uh-huh.
I got Cousin Ed and Gary too. I got the thick skin blues. Having a drink. My armpits stink.
Hey.
I'm feeling so good, I'm in the hood, I don't want it to end. I got the thick skin blues.
Thick skin blues.